All right, wow, this just got interesting. I just wanted to pray before I made this message, and I prayed for a little more understanding and clarity, and to keep my message um, as 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 pure as I could. Not saying that, and I wanted to say even in the prayer that I don't have the full understanding, but I want to understand more. And before I even finish the prayer, I'll show you guys what just happened. This is amazing. Okay, so I watched Leland Jones' video, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to turn my back on anybody unless they're completely going off the rails. I still feel, and the one thing that I could say is take the meat, leave the bones. There's plenty of people that I watch, I listen to, even the major media. You know, you can get a lot of understanding of how they're trying to propagate. I guess would be a good a way to put it. So Leland was talking about Esther, and it hit me yesterday. What are we coming up to? What happened at the end of Esther? So if you're looking at what the laws are that are coming forth right now, I want to keep looking at the camera since it's sideways. So they're bringing forth the 7 laws, right? And in those videos I was showing you guys is the Talmudic beliefs. There's another way to get salvation, and it's not through Jesus. In that article, it says that they deny Jesus and they're going to the rabbis to get their salvation. So here we go. Looking at Esther, which when you look at Esther, what is it talking about by the end? It's talking about Purim. Sorry, not Purim, Purim. And Purim is the 12th month, that is in the month of Adar, in the 13th day of the same. So I looked that up. I have a little a calculator that takes the Gregorian calendar and translates it to the Hebrew. So that is, the year must be going further, so it's the second Adar 2, and I think it's, if I can remember correctly, it was March 16th to the 17th. And look at how the world right now is telling everybody that they need to get on board with this system of the dose program by February. It went from January with us. It went from December, then it moved to January, but it's probably going to be mandated worldwide by February. And that gets them just ahead of schedule before Purim comes in March. So let me just read this. My video program, the last video I made, my video program completely went bonkers. I couldn't get it to do anything. And when I tried to optimize, I felt like a lot of my projects disappeared. So I panicked because I was like, wow, what did I just lose by optimizing? They went into my camera, into my videos, and it seemed like a lot of things had disappeared. I don't know for sure everything that might have been taken out or if anything did at all. So I was disturbed because I wanted to get that message out, because I didn't want people doing what Leland was saying, thinking that if you don't do it, you're not going to have salvation. Because if you look through the Bible, you're not going to find where it says anything about that. If you believe in Him, you can find salvation. Try your best to not sin in this world and be in the flesh, but be in the spirit. But He is saying that do this prayer, otherwise you're not doing enough to honor Him. Take it as you will. I'll leave it at that. I'm going to get back to this though. So here, maybe I'll try to work a little bit backwards. So let me go to, let's stay here in Esther. All right. So in Esther chapter 9, it talks about now in the 12th month, that is in the month of Adar, in the 13th day of the same, the king's commandment and his decree drew near to be put in extinction or in execution. In the day of the enemies of the Jews hoped to have the power over them, though it was turned to the contrary, that the Jews had rule over them that hated them. Think of the Talmudic beliefs. Think about that. They're getting some sort of a worldly power, and they're going to turn against their enemies. Who is their enemies? Gentiles. Those who are not with them are against them. Like in, I think that is Matthew 18 or 19. Those who are not with me are against me. So now take that and flip that. Those who are not with them are against them. So, for Mordecai was great in the king's house, this is verse 4, and his fame went through all the provinces, for this man Mordecai waxed greater and greater. Okay, now take that. What are they looking for? What are they doing right now during this exact time period in the beginning of December? They're putting together their oils, their objects for their temple. They're doing all the spices and the oils. So they're ready to anoint someone. Now think Mordecai. Where is this all going? Look at the La Palma situation that people are talking about. I watched the latest on Theology Ed. I didn't even finish the video. But if they brought some sort of a natural chaos on the world, whoever it may be, however it may come, that keeps people tied up. You know, you're going to have football games, and there's going to be ceremonies and halftime commercials that are half an hour long, and it's going to be just a lot of, oh, look at this, donate to that, we need to do more, we shouldn't have had, we should have been ahead of this curve, we shouldn't have been worrying about the little things, we should be worrying about these things, and look at the common thread, the enemy, blah, 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 blah. Things can change any which direction in a minute. Which also, I want to say that I'm going to try to get as much of this stuff out vocally, because if my video program will not let me put anything in it, which I might not even do, then I want to have this be able to just be word of mouth versus showing things on the screen. So let me go back into this Esther chapter 9 real quick, because there was one thing that hit me which made me even see more. So then go to verse 5. Thus the Jews smote all their enemies with the stroke of the sword, and slaughter and destruction, and did what they would unto those that hated them. If you're not with them, you're against them. So now let's go into Daniel 11. And I've shown this many times, and it was in a couple of my last videos. So let me see which one is Daniel chapter 11, verse 33. And they that understood among the people shall instruct many, yet they shall fall by the sword and flame, and by captivity, and by spoil many days. Now when they shall fall, they shall be holpen, I don't know what that word is, H-O-L-P-E-N, holpen, with a little help, but many shall cleave to them with flatteries. I'm not sure exactly what that means. If it's people that aren't fully on board with understanding of religion or of Christianity, or with being with Jesus, I guess. So those people that are cleaving to them because they, and I can give you examples. There's people at my work that I try to discuss a lot of these things with. There's a guy, and I say things to him, but I can tell, he can't wait to go right back into his Netflix and TV shows and video games. So it's like it's kind of just falling on deaf ears. And I'm not saying that this Daniel is tying directly to what is what I'm saying. This is all just a lot of thing, because I'm trying to think as the Talmudist must be thinking. I know that they look at Gentiles that are not Jews as in they are the spirits of animals in them versus a human spirit, and they can be treated just the same. So I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to say too much. I've already said too much already. But there again, here we're going into this second bowl period, and it speaks of the sea became like the blood of a dead man, and every living soul in the sea died. So let me see if I can get there, because there again, it gets very interesting with the third bowl. And let me see. And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and the fountains of water, and they became blood. And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thus art righteous, O Lord, which art, and wast, and shall be, because thou hast judged thus. For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets. So does that mean that in the last bowl, this was happening? That's when this blood of a dead man, they were pouring out the blood of the saints, and thou hast given them blood to drink. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. Oops, I got ahead of myself. For they have shed the blood of the saints and the prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments. So they're being judged, and this is being poured out on them, and they're getting blood to drink. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to, the water of the world is going to turn to blood, but there again, these are things that he is seeing. He sees the seven angels coming out of the temple, so we're not going to see that. They are seeing that. John saw that. I feel like I've covered all of it that I wanted to get into this video. It's got about 12 minutes here, so I'm going to leave it at that. Take this in, and hopefully this makes sense. So it's just a future thing that we are going to be watching, because we got 180 days that starts, say, the end of that feast period that ends, I think, the 6th, which is Monday, December 6th. And the 7th, by my calculations, when I was trying to do off of the Enoch calendar, which was shared, is December 7th. And we have this eclipse situation that happens December 4th. So if something happened, and like I showed in that other video, how that 33, we know what 33 means in the world, and who uses that, and what kind of degree that means in their those who worship that back pyramid of the dollar bill. And we know what that symbol that makes on the back. So they're working in tandem, I believe, in a sense, and that's what they did in the Old Testament, which was spoken of throughout the prophets, is the prostitution, how they mingled themselves in, they sold themselves out, they didn't keep to what they should have been. Instead, they were trying to incorporate other people's ideas and ideals, their theologies and stuff. And that's the same thing that Freemasonry is built on. And the same thing when I think about it, look at the Third Reich in Germany, the Nazis. What were they doing? They were going around the world, and they were trying to find biblical artifacts and things of power that they could use. They were searching for the Holy Grail. They were searching for the Ark. They were searching for the what was it, the spear of God, or I'm sure that they were looking for the hammer of Thor and things like that, so they could have all this power. And then what were they doing? They were mingling in all this super technology that the world didn't even have. And if you watch any of that Ancient Aliens kind of stuff, think that it's not speaking about aliens. It's truly speaking about they were mingling themselves with aliens, or not aliens, demons. So with that, I'm going to cut this off. I think this has covered all the bases. I'm going to watch the rest of that Theology Ed video. He was showing how Fortnite, and he was showing some more about Back to the Future, which is just amazing that there's just tons of stuff. Oh yeah, and that's the thing with the Back to the Future thing I didn't finish on. Was they show that 33 in the mileage on the car, and then a 3305. So if you think about it, that car only had 3,300 miles on it when they were shooting the movie, or I'm sure they broke open the tach and they rolled it back to the exact numbers they wanted to show. And 3305, and then the tripometer, when you're thinking about a tripometer, is 7 miles later, or 7 days, or 7 days later, now that I say it. And, so either it could be saying the 5th to the 7th, or it could be saying 5 to 7 days later. I don't know. But I'm just trying to cover that because I didn't hear him speaking about that. I'm like, wow, that's kind of an interesting thing to see on the speedometer, on the tachometer. That's kind of like Is that a coincidence that 33 shows up there? No way. Because also it shows on the stopwatch, it shows the 133. And I think he describes that in some way, but I don't remember right off the top of my head. But all right, I cut this off. Hopefully this made a lot of sense. Sorry this video got a little long, but like I said, this is a future event, and I don't know how much time we have to share information anymore, because I'm sure that the technologies that run these things are probably getting ready to work against us. So just a word to the wise guys. God bless.